Hey, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, TV shows, movies, and kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. First of all, I just want to say hi to the 400 of you who decided to subscribe. Welcome to the kickback. I hope you guys have an amazing time here. Don't ever feel afraid to, like, if you want me to speak about a topic or like a show or a movie or something like that. So always leave those suggestions in my comments and I will try to get to as many of them as I can. Today we'll be discussing a show called Tiny Pretty Things on Netflix. I just want to say that there will be spoilers all up and through this commentary. I'm so sorry. I can't talk about something without spoiling it. I'm so sorry. So, Tiny Pretty Things is based on a two-book series by the same names, written by two women of color, Sonia Carapatro and the other woman whose name I'm going to put on the screen because I'm not butchering her name. I already butchered Sonia's name. I'm not going to butcher two women of color's name. The book has a 3.7 on Goodreads and is described as like Black Swan meets Pretty Little Liars. I've never personally watched a Black Swan, so I'm gonna say it's like a mix of like Dance Academy and like Pretty Little Liars. Even though like it is nothing like Dance Academy outside the ballet, but for me that is the closest way I can describe this show, and I'm so sorry. I've never watched Black Swan and I won't. I won't watch it, but the girl said it was good. So the books follows three girls who will do anything they possibly can to make it as principal dancers at their New York City ballet school. So right there is a notable difference between the show and books. One, the names of the characters are all different, and a lot of the characters themselves are not the same from what I've been researching from the book. Also, if you want me to like read the book and then do like a comparison, I could do that if you like this video. But so again, a lot of the characters have changed. Like Nivea is Gigi in the book, but their personalities are very different. And also, this does not take place in New York City. This takes place in, I presume, Chicago, because they mentioned Illinois, and Chicago is the only like major like city I know. And Illinois, I'm sorry, geography has not been ever been my strong point. Sorry, so sorry. But so I'm assuming it's in Chicago because I know it's not in New York because they, when one of the students was getting kicked out, they mentioned that they applied to schools in New York. So it does not take place in New York anymore, which I think is interesting because I feel like most times when we're talking about the arts and like theater and stuff like that, it usually does take place in either like LA or New York City. But it's nice to see that there are other major cities in play in the art world. As well as this show doesn't really center around three girls. There are like the three main girls that we follow the most, but like we have a lot of side characters who get a lot of shine themselves. Pretty Tiny Things follows a group of students at an elite dance school, and we follow these students after the accident of top dancer Cassie Shore. Now, because of her accident, there is a spot open at the school, and here's where we meet our main character, Nevega, who originally was rejected from the school, but because of Cassie's accident, was let in. We'll also meet our, I guess, like her rival in a sense, Bet, who I'm gonna get back to Bet, because me and Bet got some issues. Bet, who now, because of Cassie's accident, is the kind of like HBIC, or like for the non-black people, she's the queen bee of the school right now, and it's the top of everything because Cassie's no longer there. And I think with the students at the school, there's a very clear, when we are not in the studio, we are friends and I will do anything for you. But when we're in the studio, we're rivals. And I feel like that creates a lot of tension, a lot of issues, because it's very, it's something about that's very weird to me that like y'all are best friends with people who've done horrible things to you. In particular, Bet. Bet has done horrible things to everyone on this cast, and everyone just like, I love me some Bet. Would do anything for some Bet, and I'm just like, why? Personally, I feel like that is a fault of the writers. They did not really flesh out these friendships enough for me to fully understand why you would be willing to go to bat for someone who's done so many terrible things to you. Because my brain can't understand that. That if this person is my quote unquote friend, but every step of the way for my dreams, they have sabotaged me. We're not friends anymore. Maybe it's different for dancers because I've never really been an athlete. Like, I used to play soccer when I was younger, but I feel like that's what you do when you're like Caribbean, you play soccer. But like, I really am not naturally a competitive person, so like sports have never done anything for me. Maybe that's why I don't get this. But just as a human level, there's so much betrayal in this show, and I don't understand how they go up to bat for each other in certain cases in the show. Because I'm just like, this person is a bad person to you. Why are you? But we'll get into that. But yes, these consistent rivalries and all of that, because again, at the end of the day, there can only be two leads. That does create a lot of tension amongst each other, and a lot of that fuels the mystery surrounding the accident of Cassie Shore, which we come to find out at a certain point she was pushed by somebody. Well, not us, the audience. Us, the audience, we see Cassie dancing on a ledge. Okay, sure, I'm gonna put that off. Something white people do. Dancing on an edge on a roof, and we see her being confronted by someone with the rose in their hands, and they're wearing like this gray hoodie, and then gray hoodie, and her struggle for a bit, and then she's pushed off the ledge, and now she's in a coma. She ain't died. I thought she died in the beginning, but she's in a coma, and Cassie is kind of narrating the show for us as the show goes on. But yes, the willingness of people ready to do anything and everything to get their top spot definitely fuels this mystery, because this mystery is definitely a whodunit, because everyone stands to gain with Cassie out of the way. Like I said, Bet is now on top because Cassie's gone. June, everyone's kind of fighting each other to kind of clamber into the top now that Cassie's gone, and kind of like the whole hierarchy and structure of the school has completely shifted because Cassie's now gone. So that was a quick little synopsis of the show. And I just want to say that this show, with no stretch of the imagination, isn't actually a good show. I'm sorry. Did I watch all 10 episodes? I sure did. But think shows don't have to be good for you to enjoy them. And I feel like that is definitely what Tiny Pretty Things is. It is not a good show, but it's enjoyable. Where I think it falls short in a lot of places, so the issue lies in the fact that this is a dance show. So I think they went out their way to find excellent dancers. But the issue with that is this is a lot of people's first role. I feel like most of like the main cast, this is their first role. And I feel like Netflix really wanted to hammer in the amazing dancers, but because of that, because I don't know where it intersects with people who are amazing dancers and people who are competent actors. I don't know where those lines meet, but clearly not enough because they didn't find them for the show. So the acting is bad. The script, this is because at first I couldn't tell if it was just these people couldn't act or it was the script, but I was quickly reminded it was the script. Because there were a point in time when like dialogue was so bad. Like, it didn't feel like a human being was saying these things. It felt like someone who was like 40 plus writing down what they think like young people would say in like a confrontation. And it was just, that script. It got to a point actually that I had just gotten so used to how bad the script was that like I didn't even notice it. Like, there'd be times where something would just be outlandishly bad acting wise. I would just be like, why are we doing this? But the acting was bad, the script was bad, the pacing was terrible. I did not like the pacing when it came to relationships because like I know young people, like, we bounce, so, like, when you're, like, especially, also, this cast is juniors in high school. That's what, not the cast, but, like, the characters are supposed to be, like, juniors in high school, which I don't believe. But anyways, it's supposed to be juniors in high school. And I get, like, high school kids, like, relationships, they come and go really fast, they burn really hot, and they fizzle out really quickly. But we had, like, no real growth in anyone's relationship that wasn't already there pre Nevaeh being there. Like, because, like, Bet had a boyfriend who was also one of the dancers. His name escapes me because, okay, it escapes me. Who was also sleeping, I think, was it him Oren? Or was that the boy he was sleeping with? Yeah, he was cheating on his girlfriend with a boy. That was happening. So their relationship was established. But then once they broke up, okay, so it's like Nevaeh goes from suspecting Nabil of killing Cassie to kissing him, and it spanned like 2 episodes. That made no sense to me. You just thought this man was a killer because he has tendencies that aren't the best. He is very scary and threatening. I will say that. Because he kind of like pops out of corners and like gets real close to you. And any man does that to me, I assume you're a murderer. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. No man needs to be within this close to me, breathing their hot breath on me, being real threatening. Like, regardless of race, that. Because like, that comes up. Like, Islamophobia comes up a lot in the show as well. We gonna get into that one as well. But like, it don't really matter what creed you are. You a man, get that close to me, we have an issue. I also would believe you were a murderer, because he just pops up out of like. They did a really good job making Nabil look suspicious, but I feel they like 25% of that was just because he was brown. But anyways, because again, sometimes like you would be living your life and then Nabil would be like in a dark corner somewhere just sulking, and it's like, is this man good? But yeah, she goes from accusing this man of being a murderer to kissing him. And then when she starts dating, like, Bet's boyfriend, like, they break up and then her and him get together. Nevaeh and him get together. That relationship seems super fast. Like, maybe maybe I'm not good at picking up cues when people like each other. Because to me, it just felt like they were creating, like, a bond of a friendship. Like, he was comforting her and consoling her like a friend would. And then, like, motherfuckers started kissing, and I was like, what? That, I feel like a lot of the relationships kind of happened very quickly. There was no, we didn't see any build up to make this, there's no tension. It was just like, we're best friends, kind of, sort of. Now we're making out. Why? So I feel like Bet and her boyfriend from before, and maybe like, again, with Nabil in June, again, I just thought they were being good friends to each other. I don't know. Maybe my brain, I'm not good at picking up cues. I'm not good at seeing people flirt. But to me, they just seemed like really good friends that were just kind of, they both went through something traumatic, trauma bonding. You know what? That's what I'm gonna say. Everybody was trauma bonding, and that's why this relationship just happened so quickly. There you go, crack the case. Crack my own case. Sorry guys, I did all that just to solve it myself. Another thing I did not like about this show is like, there'd be times when like the plot was being discussed by the characters, which I hate. I always show not tell. There was way too much telling instead of showing in this show. But the there would be like a group of characters in a sauna naked discussing the plot. There was far too much nudity in the show. Far too much. Too much for me to be comfortable with, if we're being honest. And those scenes were the hardest for me because just a bunch of naked white people in a room sweating together, and I'm just like talking about the plot, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm fast forward through that. I think once we reach episode like 4 or 5, there's like a minimum of like 5 sex scenes in every episode. And for me personally, no matter the show, I skip sex scenes. Personally, I don't feel like they add anything to the story. It doesn't do anything for the plot. You're just having sex. To me, sex scenes are completely useless. And by sex scenes, I mean like the ways in which like Netflix and HBO does it. Like, that's gratuitous at that point and completely unnecessary. And again, I'm supposed to be watching like what, 16, 17-year-olds. I don't want to watch at 22 years old. I do not want to watch people pretending to be 15, 16-year-olds having sex. I don't. I'm really good. I'm fine. Because personally, I feel like this whole show could have worked if they were in their 20s. Like at like not like a ballet school, but like at the company. You know what I mean? Like at the ballet company, them still fighting for the top spots. This still works if they're grown, but of course, Netflix is like, gotta make them teenagers, whatever. But yeah, the unnecessary amount of nudity, the unnecessary amount of sex scenes that, again, these sex scenes did nothing for the plot, and I guess I was supposed to like swoon, but like, listen, the amount of times I had to look at white people's bare ass, it was terrible. It was truly, truly traumatizing. I don't want that to happen again. I don't, because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary at all. It added nothing. Nothing. I feel like if there is going to be season 2, cut out the scenes where people are just naked for absolutely no reason, just to push the plot forward. I'm tired of looking at people's asses. I truly am. And again, I do not like the fact that Nevaeh was treated like a diversity when she was clearly talented. Like, she was clearly a very talented dancer. Everyone in the show is an amazing dancer. I think, again, Netflix sacrificed, good acting for good dancing. And Nevaeh, sorry. I don't know why I want to call her Nevaeh so bad. Nevaeh is an extremely talented dancer, as well as she is beautiful and captivating. So, like, because apparently in the book, how they did Gigi, the character that she's playing, is that she comes into the school and she snatches the top spot. And that's why everyone hates her. Because it just felt like the hate around Nevaeh was unnecessary. Because, again, the teachers treated her like a diversity point. And then, like, at first the students, like, because it's very interesting with Nevaeh's character. Like, she comes in, and at first she has this conviction that she is going to be on top. So what if she only has 2 years to be here and make something up for herself after these kids have been here, like, most of their, like, adolescent years? She's like, I'm going to make some shit shake. I'm going to be number one girl. And at first we see that. We see that conviction in her. And we see her practicing and dancing. And it goes so far that, like, she inspires the choreographer to make up this whole new play just after watching her dance. And, like, we see that at first people have a reason to be afraid of her and intimidated from her. And then, like, it completely, like, derails. And then by episode 4, her story no longer surrounds dancing anymore. Like, every other character's stories comes back to dance. It comes back to ballet. It comes back to their life in this world. And at a certain point, Nevaeh is just Nancy Drew. We don't see her practicing anymore. We don't see her vying for the top spots anymore. She's just kind of there. And she's trying to solve this mystery and take down this dance school. And it's like, the other characters participate in wanting to take down the dance school while also still trying to be number one. Like, we see Bet and June consistently going back and forth, tit for tat. Mostly just Bet, the demon that she is. And sabotaging each other and, like, doing each other dirty because dance is still their number one priority. And I don't like that about Nevaeh's character. She was supposed to be a threat. And it hurts me that you made this black girl the lead for her story to just be to save everyone else. And, like, that's not the problem, but it's just like, why couldn't it be both? Why couldn't she, like, although the white girls got to do both and be like, we're going to take down the school, I'm still going to be a principal dancer. And then, again, Nevaeh is Sherlock Holmes. Completely gives up dance, it seems. And it just really bothers me, because in the book, the original character, Gigi, her thing is she has a heart condition. And she still is at the top of her game. And that, I think, is really beautiful. Seemed like what I've read from other people, that seemed to be this really charming point about her. But she was also, like, a little bit more colder. Versus Nevaeh, who, her background story is that her mother's in prison and her brother was shot and paralyzed by the police, which I have feelings about that. I do. I don't feel like every black person's story needs to be tragic. I'm tired of, because she seems to be the only, I just did not enjoy her background being so tragic. I feel like as a black, like tragedy is not something all black people go through. It's not. Especially, like, ballet is not a cheap thing to pay for. Like, ballet, gymnastics, dance in general is not a very cheap thing to fund for kids. So for her to be able to go do ballet classes when she has, there's a little bit of money there. So as the show gets on, we see that every character pretty much has a motive for why they could have possibly pushed Cassie. Because again, Cassie's the devil. Bet's no better either, but again, we get into Bet. Then there's a character named Nabil who is Cassie's boyfriend, and he followed her from Paris to Chicago to dance with her because he really fell in love. Whatever. Um, Nabil deals with a lot of Islamophobia. Like there'll be times where he'll be praying and people will be looking at him like he has some type of disease. And I'm just like, he's praying. What's because it's in a language you don't understand. Okay, but he deals with a lot of it from his roommate Caleb, who we go, ooh, Caleb. His dad went to war and he died, and for some reason he blames Nabil, even though Nabil very obviously like he speaks French. Okay, that's fine. He's from Paris, but I guess that doesn't matter to him. He's just like, well, you're one of those people, so you did it. I'm just like, Caleb, you diet. Oops, let me not say that. Oh, I'm about to say something real disrespectful, real disrespectful. But it's just like Caleb's like motivations for hating like Nabil are so stupid. It is so stupid. You cannot blame, because my thing is, if you're blaming like Nabil for your father's death, you should also be blaming the U.S. military for his death as well, and our presidents at the time that your father went to war. That this should also be their fault, but it's Nabil's. Okay, okay. Oh my God, that everything. Caleb is irritating. He's annoying. Oh my God, I fucking hate Caleb. Oh God, I do. And it's like I felt, and like you would think I'd be a little sympathetic because his father dead. Nope, nope. Could care less because he was so irritating, and his like, because again, every reason to dislike Nabil made no sense to me because it was not Nabil's fault. I don't, because also like Islam, you don't have to be like, you could be anything. Because again, it's a religion, so anybody can practice it. Anyways, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna bring sense into this show because there is none. This plot is all over the place. These characters are over the place. Why am I trying to bring sense to this? There is so much like abuse of power. Like again with Caleb, after his father died, he kind of found comfort with, that's such a nice way to put the fact that she was being a predator. Miss Monique, the principal of the school, like they were in a relationship. It wasn't a relationship. She took advantage of him. And instead of her like getting her just dues for, being a predator, and a predator in many ways, all that happened was, so she tries to break it off with him, and she's just like, I did something bad to you. And one day, not right now, you're gonna see I was a horrible person and I took advantage of you. Okay? And that was kind of it. And I was like, no, I want you to go to prison for what you're doing to this boy. And apparently she's the same thing to Ramon. And it's just like the cycle of abuse, because Ramon is also, who is the choreographer, a creep. He apparently was in a relationship with Cassie again. These are people who are juniors in high school. So that was happening, as well as he's dating Delia, whatever her name is. He was dating her, who is Bet's older sister, and she's a principal dancer. She's the best of the best. But like, there are moments where like him and her sister Bet had some very inappropriate touching and whispering in the ears, and I was deeply uncomfortable. The, oh yeah, but it don't matter now because of the last episode. You see why it doesn't matter. But at the time, I was deeply uncomfortable, unsettled, if you would. It was, ugh, no, 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 no. While Nevia is playing Nancy Drew, we find out that, okay, so with the arts, is funded by wealthy people. This is how it works. The arts is not something that I feel like our U.S. government really sees as a necessity, as an importance. So because of that, they don't get funding from state like that. So they get most of their money from wealthy people. And because of that, these schools, these programs are willing to do pretty much anything to get funding. I feel like Tiny Pretty Things definitely is a good way of showing how corrupt it is when you have wealthy people being in control of situations, because the ways in which, so they fund the school and they're allowed access to the girls. Now, what happens is some of the girls who maybe are not as financially inept as some of the other people at the dance academy, they can work at this, like, it's like a mixture of like a bar and like a country club for like rich people, because it's not really like a club, like there's no like loud music, no one's like dancing, but it's not really as stuffy as a country club. And there is a VIP section which is filled with people who fund the dance school, and the girls will be sent in there and the men will be allowed access to them. Now, what does not make sense to me is this. Because, like what happened in the show, one of the girls um, had to take Plan B because she thought maybe she was going to be pregnant. And I feel like that is a thing that would happen a lot. And as a dance school, you don't want a bunch of girls pregnant, because the thing is, they got kicked out if they were caught on school grounds having sex, you know? But you were allowing them to be assaulted. And did you think what these men, all these men were gonna wrap it up because they were sexually assaulting underage girls? No, that's common sense. That you would, but we're talking about people who are predators. So I'm confused why like that girl was the first instance of like things happening, and then her possibly being pregnant. Like that should like that that just didn't make sense to me, because that left like these rich men having access to these girls left too much of a margin of error. Because again, what if like 10 of your top girls get pregnant? They can't dance anymore. uh, ah. So that in a nutshell was Tiny Pretty Things. Again, not a good show by stretch of imagination, but did I watch all 10 episodes? Yes, I was entertained. But I think I was entertained by the mess of it all, as well as I think the dancing was pretty amazing. That's why anytime anyone would get like scolded for something, I'd be like, "What are you talking about? I see perfection." As well as, so again, the script is bad, the acting is bad, the music. Oh, the music is top tier. I literally made a playlist of all my favorite songs from that show, because though, ooh, Tiny Pretty Things, that soundtrack. Oh yeah, that soundtrack good. And I feel like YouTuber Kenny said it best, that trash movies and trash shows always have good soundtrack. It's to distract you from what's happening. Because there'd be times where I was about to skip through a scene and then like the music was starting to hit. And I was like, okay, but wait. Now I gotta sit through this. Oh, I feel like another thing I just want to quickly talk about is shows that are centered around minors and have a bunch of sex scenes. We don't need that. A lot of these shows would continue to work just the same if they were adults. There's not a single show that shows teenagers and adult themes that this show still would not work if they were adults. At name show, then put it in the adult world and it still fits. Nothing changes. It stays the same. It's just a little more believable. And also makes a lot of us feel a lot less uncomfortable, because again, I skip through sex scenes regardless, but I doubly skip through sex scenes when I know that these characters are minors. Because I, as a 22-year-old, don't want to see people having sex with their children. It makes me deeply uncomfortable. Those are not the worlds I frequent. I don't want to see kids having sex. And again, all of this unnecessary nudity. We don't need it. The plot and everything moves the same with everyone clothed. The plot and everything moves, again, the bare bones of a plot moves the same without the sex scenes. Another thing, I guessed who the killer was and their motives, episode 4. It's really not that difficult to put it together if you just never read a book. I don't know. I just feel like just basic skills I knew after I feel like what tipped me off probably wasn't what's supposed to tip me off, but watching Ramon watch uh Nevia dance and then her being left that rose, everything in my brain just clicked and I was like, he and Cassie was doing something. And then Dahlia, Delia was got wind of what was happening, and then she pushed her. That's I episode 4. I already knew who done it and why. That was exactly the reason what happened. Um, would I recommend this show? Yes, but not because it's good. I just want you to watch it so you can like. I want my friends to watch this show so they can rant to me about it. That's what I want from the show. I think this is a great show to rant and rave about and rip apart with your friends because there is so much. And again, my issues with Bette. She did so much horrible things to people. Sometimes it just felt unwarranted how cruel she was. And after I was, because for like 9 episodes, you just have to watch her do bad things and get away with it. And have no karma. There's karma in the end, but I'm just like, it took you too long. It took you way too long because I was like, if this girl don't fall from grace, where is it? Because she hurt so many of her friends. I also did not like the fact that like June had no proof that Nevaeh was doing anything to her, but she was still quick to believe Beth and then attack June. And then, I'm sorry, to attack Nevaeh. When it's like, also, ooh, another issue I had was, so Nevaeh has this tiny little, like, ballerina that her mother gave her before she went to prison. And it's like her good luck charm. And it goes missing. She blames June. And June's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then June, June gets snatched up out the shower by Nevaeh. And then Nevaeh pulls out her little ballerina out of June's stuff. And then we move past that. It's not talked about again. How to get there. June is at no way, shape, or form suspicious about how Nevaeh's stuff got into her things, but she still is so quick to believe that like Nevaeh was the one who locked her on the roof and made her miss an opportunity to be lead for the it just felt like y'all were too quick to blame the black girl. It truly was because I'm just like, the only person that has proof that y'all were doing something to her is actually Nevaeh. And all you have is assumptions. Like, she found her things in your stuff, and you weren't suspicious of how it got there? I'm getting... This, it's really frustrating, but I feel like I feel something about the show, and that's better than not caring at all. Again, this is not a great show, but it made me feel things. It did. I'm here ranting to you about it, so clearly it did something. Okay, that's it. I'm done with the ranting about this bad show that I will definitely watch season 2 of. I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. Listen, all shows don't gotta be good. They don't. This is entertaining. It's real soap opera, real, housewives type of drama. And I kind of like it. I do. It's for that purpose. But there's a lot of things that need to be changed, a lot of things need to be fixed for season 2. Again, I want less nudity because honestly, this show is like softcore porn. At least I assume it is because again, I skipped through all of it. All the sex scenes, because there's 5 per episode. I want to stop. But besides that, again, the dancing is phenomenal. The dancers do a really good job. The music is top tier. But beyond that, I'm good. I am good. That's pretty much it. If you have any other shows or movies that you want me to watch and review, please leave your suggestions in the comment section. Also, again, I'm so blessed for, at the time of this video, it was 400 of you who have chosen to subscribe. Welcome to Kickback again. We be a little bit of a mess over here. We just be ranting and raving about whatever. we feel this week. And I really appreciate all you guys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.